Hello, everyone. Welcome to Online Seller UK podcast. I'm your host, Prabhat, founder at Online Seller UK. And today I've got Brent with me. Brent is a founder of AMZ Pathfinder, and it's an Amazon advertising agency. Welcome to our podcast, Brent.
Hello, hello. Hey, it's been, I would say a while, but I guess it's been just a month or two.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I think it's always good to start with the introduction, Brent, and we can take it from there.
Yeah, sure. So like you said, AMZ Pathfinder is a Amazon advertising agency. We are covering a couple areas off of Amazon these days too, as the 2022 heats up. So that's exciting. Some areas to expand our services into. But yeah, we're about 30 people. We're remote. We work with clients from North America and EU marketplaces, pretty much. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. So the topic for today is focus on the basics of advertising. So do you want to talk a little bit on that?
Yeah, sure. So I keep kind of an idea of what I call like not so much New Year's resolutions, but like themes for the year. So one of my themes for the business is basically this: focus on the basics. One of the three things I decided to really hone in and tell the team to look out for is focus on the basics. And what do I mean by that? It's like think of it like a skyscraper or a big house or anything that has a foundation. You must build a foundation that is solid before you can build other things on top of it. There's so many advanced tactics and techniques that we could talk about on this podcast, and I'm sure we will later in the year, and that's all good, and that's all exciting. But like without having a firm grasp on these fundamentals and executing consistently strong on them, what does it matter if you know the most advanced tactic in the world if you can't master something as basic as like bidding and budget, for instance?
Yeah, so I think, yeah, you hear a lot of these podcasts, but like you said, I hear a lot of the advanced topics and so on. So, and I think it's good that we are going down and grounding on the basics. So, you already mentioned, biddings and budgets. So, do you want to talk a little bit, what are the basic things any advertiser should focus for Amazon advertising?
Sure. Yeah, I have six in mind in particular. So let me cheat looking at my notes here. The first one I already touched on, like budgeting, bidding, and how that flow of money informs strategy, right? Because if you don't have money to spend on advertising, well, you're not really going to get anywhere, are you? And if you have only a little bit, you have to be judicious about where you put it. And if you have a lot, you have to decide, okay, well, what are all the strategies we're going to figure out here? So that will directly influence the rest of the questions you're asking. We just talked about this idea of like advanced tactics. Well, if you have only 5,000 US dollars, or I don't know, what is that, 4K pound, you're not going to really be able to do these most advanced tactics. You should focus on the basics and stick to those. If you have 100,000 US dollars or pound, that's a different story, right? You have a much more room to play with. The second part I would highlight would be just account structure and coverage for products. So making sure that you have a logical structure, good naming conventions, everything is organized and tidy. You can understand what's going on in the account. If you're using software, making sure to get a grasp on that and making sure you're advertising the products you want to be advertising. We see this as an issue and a struggle in some larger accounts with thousands of SKUs. It's like, do we have every product advertised? If so, how much? That's a big question. Couple others, I'll go a little bit quicker. I mean, keyword research, kind of self-explanatory. We all love like fancy keyword research tools, and I'm sure that you and I and everyone else we know has subscriptions to like 5 different tools that we use like 20% of their functionality. So maybe it's time to readdress that and look at those tools again. But generally speaking, targeting, making sure you're targeting the right things. So structure, allocation of money, targeting the right things. Those are like the triad upon which most things stand on. And then if we kind of zoom out a little bit, I see understanding psychology that shoppers have as one of them, understanding the full funnel for advertising from the high end where people are just exploring products all the way down to them knowing about your brand. And then the last one I would highlight would be not losing sight of what advertising actually brings to the table from the bigger picture. So what is the actual bigger purpose of advertising on Amazon or off Amazon?
Okay, excellent. So I think there's quite a few good things that you've mentioned. The keyword research that everybody wants to do to find the right keyword, perhaps. So, and then I also know of some people, some brands just don't do keyword research. They just use auto tool and then find out what keywords are converting and using those. So what's your thought on that? So do we just rely on Amazon's data, or do we still use the external keyword tool? So what's your inclination in this?
Yeah, well, the reality of keyword research is it's definitely possible to get a lot done with auto campaigns or exploratory type campaigns on
Yeah,
Amazon where you're mining data essentially through that
yeah,
method.
yeah,
And you can start with a set of assumptions, right? Like here are the seed keywords that I originally researched when I, sourced this product, or the ones that we know have historically worked quite well. Like that's all good. That's all fine. But I think that using these tools is like the second layer, and I would encourage anyone to continue to try to stay current on those tools and use some of these newer advanced methods. I think for us at the agency end, we really are a big fan of using tools that dig into competitor products and analyze the market, not just like your own product and just like type in a keyword. Here are the keywords that come out of that as like the result of that seed phrase. We're much more into competitor research and doing that like on a consistent basis and testing those keywords. I would say a way to think about it is like think of keywords as like a demonstration of demand. And I would equate demand with like a river. So you might have a very wide and fast flowing river for something like a mattress. Like people are searching for mattresses, so they can have a comfortable place to sleep on Amazon. But then there's maybe smaller rivers or tributaries that go off of that main demand, and maybe that's like mattress cover or super soft mattress, or mattress for dogs. I don't know. There's other variations on that. And by doing keyword research and being responsive to that, you're basically, the way I see it, like analyzing and understanding the shifting landscape. These rivers, sometimes they dry up, sometimes they get bigger, sometimes they change, and how fast the speed of the water is, so to speak, like how frequently people are searching, let's say. So this is, I think, a healthy way to think about keyword research. It is not a static being. It is a moving, like living entity, and you need to treat it as such because market demand shifts. I always think of a classic example, those fidget spinners that were like really popular on Amazon in like 2018. We had several clients that sold those, and for a brief period of time did very well. But ultimately, it was a fad and it went away. And now I'm sure people still buy fidget spinners, but it's not like to the level it was at one point.
yeah, absolutely. It's like same. You can give a recent example, very unfortunate example of sanitizers.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
at some point, it was picking up quite well, but now it's not heavily in demand. So,
No.
and I hope it doesn't come in demand either. So, yeah. So, just going forward a little bit on that sort of thing. So, for somebody who is trying to whether they build a brand, obviously to sell more on Amazon.
Mhm.
So there are other tactics involved. So how do you focus, bring the focus and advertising to grow the sales for somebody who is looking to build a brand on Amazon?
Yeah, I guess this gets to one of the key points, which is this contextualizing, right? Because we in the ad space, and maybe this is a problem that we just suffer from being like the nerds who are pulling the levers on the back end. We're very focused on the numbers and the outcomes related to advertising. But sometimes we really benefit from stepping back and saying, okay, well, what is the total ACoS? That's a common metric people look at. And how does this fit into the larger business objectives for our clients? Because, we can spend, 10,000 or 100,000, but ultimately, if that's not directed at the right targets or serving the right purpose when it comes to comparing it to other numbers related to that client business, then it's not really serving any purpose. And at the end of the day, what most business owners want to hear and understand is, okay, this is the money in, this is the money out, or this is the objective we've achieved with organic rank or conversion rate. They don't necessarily care about, we set up these campaigns and they're super special, secret military operation campaigns and they can't be beat. The outcome is what they're interested in, right? And so contextualizing where ads fit in the larger business is really important, especially as we see increasing prices for containers, like going up drastically, supply chain issues. This is Chinese New Year's like in a week and a half. So all these other things are related to advertising, and it does not exist in a vacuum. And so everyone needs to understand that and not just get obsessed about the minor details of this campaign or that keyword. And, this one costs 10 more cents than that one. That's not, that's important at some level, but not in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, that's really good tips there. So I think we can wrap up. Is there anything else you want to add before we close?
Not in particular. I think that just to review, I mean, bidding and budgeting, structure, and then keyword research and targeting. Those are like the three most important things. And then one of the fun things about PPC on Amazon is digging into the psychology of shoppers, right? You have to be able to empathize and put yourself in their shoes, understand what demands or needs is this solving or meeting, and that goes back also to this keyword thing, understanding the flows of demand as they shift through the marketplace. Kind of a fun way to look at it.
Absolutely. No, that's really good tip, Brent. So if somebody is to find you and want to speak with you, where's the best place to
Yeah,
get
so two places or three places actually. You can find us, AMZ Pathfinder, on LinkedIn, and shoot us a message there. Same thing on Facebook. You can email us hello@amzpathfinder.com. And there's a new thing I've been trying. If you just type brent.bike, so my first name .bike, bike like bicycle, into your URL, your browser in Chrome or whatever, it'll direct you to my Calendly page. You can just book a call with me there. So just type brent.bike, give it a try, see what happens. And
Yeah, I will try it.
yeah, you can talk to me there.
Yeah, excellent. So all the best, Brent, and I'm obviously I'd like try to speak with you again and book another podcast.
All right, sounds
All
good.
the best. All
See
the
you
best.
around, man.
Bye.